This episode of The Reasons I'm Broke is brought to you by Audible.
Sign up today and get a free audiobook download and a 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
There's over 150,000 titles to choose from, all available on your Android device, Kindle, and iPhone.
Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke, ranging from comics, movie, TV, video games, and more. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome to the show and the lovely family of Brokettes. The way we format our show is first we start out with some news, ranging again, comic books, TV, video games, and more, and we follow up with our comic book pull list of the week.
This week we've got no Marvel books, but we do have a ton of indie and some DC comics, including some very heartfelt ends to some of the books that we adored since 2011 with the New 52 when that all started. This month is pretty much the end of the New 52 with Convergence coming up, but more on that later. First news. This one we just, right now, added to the notes because we found it on Twitter, because I follow Chris Hansen. If you don't know who Chris Hansen is, he was the investigator who did the To Catch a Predator show. One of the funniest TV shows that will ever air. I cracked up every time I watch. It's not supposed to be funny. It's a bunch of kid touchers getting caught, but just the interaction and how serious everyone is hilarious to me. And you laughed as well. Everyone laughed about it. Even at the end, when Chris Hansen was starting to discover some of the fame behind it all, he started having fun with it too and embarrassing the kid touchers, and that was just the best. Unfortunately, that got canceled one day when one of the guys that got caught actually offed himself when they followed him and figured out that he pretty much found out that this investigation was fake. So he offed himself, left a note instead of being embarrassed on television or just going to jail. Maybe it wasn't even the television thing. He was just like, screw it, I'm done. And because of that...
it would have ruined his career.
The man that was caught,
yeah.
Right. And because of that, the TV show was stopped. And the family of that guy actually sued the show. Like, if you guys hadn't set up this fake investigation...
He was a kid toucher.
He never would have done this. At any point when he got caught, he would have offed himself. But regardless, it was a very sad day in television when To Catch a Predator was over. And Chris Hansen did try to move into like other internet scams, try to catch like those guys with the emails where they have this bank account that they can't access unless you send them $2,000, but then they'll give you $20 million.
Right, you have a wealthy relative overseas who left you money in their will, but in order to access it, we need your social security number or some crap.
And he also tried to catch some of the auto places that would claim to do certain tests on your car, and then when they put up the hidden camera thing, they didn't end up doing the tests, or sometimes they didn't do the service they actually paid them for. So, good effort at trying to get back into it. But people really wanted the To Catch a Predator thing. Like, that was just the best thing he ever did in his career.
I'm gonna take a nap now.
That's for Chris Hansen. And we saw Hansen vs. Predator Kickstarter.
Yes.
Going up tomorrow. And I couldn't wait to talk about it next week because I am extremely excited, throwing all my money at him catching some more pedophiles and embarrassing them on television. Why wouldn't you want that? Everyone should be. This is a good cause on top of that. It's hilarious, and you're getting pedophiles away.
Right.
And you're giving Chris Hansen his job.
You think they'd hire me? Could I be one of like the fake 15-year-olds?
Oh, hello. Come on in. How would you do it?
I'd have to work on this. By the end of the show, I'll have it.
I got it already. I mean,
okay.
You heard a sample of it. I left some cookies. I wouldn't even try to make it sound like a woman. I left some cookies on the table. Please have a seat. It was always the fakest thing, too.
I'm just doing some laundry.
I spilled something on my shirt. I'm changing right now. I'll be out in a second. And then Chris Hansen would come out like, oh, having some cookies there? And that's when I'm like, yes! He always had like a fucking little line.
Are you her dad?
Yeah, go ahead, make yourself comfortable. Like if the guy was like sitting back on a sofa, that's when the pedophiles would always be like, oh, you're not Chrissy.
You're not Megan. Sometimes it'd be like guys too.
Yeah.
They'd be there for like 15-year-old boys.
Yep. from all kinds, all jobs, all backgrounds, everything. So it was such an amazing show, and I'm really happy. It has nothing to do really with comics or movies. It's just something that makes
television news.
It makes Daniel happy. So I wanted to share this with all the Brokettes out there. If you have not seen To Catch a Predator, you can find them on YouTube. There's a ton of them. There's compilations. There's the funniest ones. I would play this sick game where I'd be like, the one that makes me laugh the most, I might let him off on a lighter sentence. He made me laugh.
There was the one that got tased that one time, and you kept rewinding it.
These are the things, the reasons Daniel laughs. So check it out. HansonVersusPredator.com is where they're going to put up the whole campaign, but it'll be up on Twitter. Now to some real comic book news.
Now to some relevant news for the show. So The Hollywood Reporter and Deadline are reporting that Joe and Anthony Russo, the directors of Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, have signed on to direct Avengers, The Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2.
Captain America 1 was my favorite of the Marvel movies. And Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, was really good as well. I liked Iron Man 3 a lot. And Guardians of the Galaxy was enjoyable as well. So those are the 4 Marvel movies that I've enjoyed. So when you take The Avengers, which I really didn't like, and there's a sequel coming up soon, same director, that's Joseph Whedon, Joss, but it's Joseph, that's his real fucking name. Joseph Whedon, and he's directing the second one as well. I don't know why he's not doing the Infinity Wars, but I gotta be honest with you, The Winter Soldier was so fucking solid, and such a good movie. The fighting effects and scenes in that movie looked realistic, and they were choreographed so well that I didn't feel like it was just a blur, and I wasn't seeing where the punches were landing. Like, they looked real. They were beautifully executed, and if they can do all that for 2 movies, including the rest of the superheroes and supervillains in the Infinity War, do it and get them on there, because that was a good fucking movie.
Agreed. I did really enjoy that movie. I don't look at movies the same way you do. I look more at the story rather than, I don't know, you film majors look at all these little things.
Ex-film majors.
Theories of thirds and nonsense. But, they did a great job with that movie, so very encouraging to see what they'll do with this next one.
Part 1 is set to release on May 4th, 2018, and Part 2 on May 3rd, 2019.
I could be dead by then. They need to hurry up with these movies.
Well, I was going to say Green Lantern comes out the following year, 2020, and I think along with the Cyborg movie, if I remember correctly.
I'm going to be so old in 2020.
That's 6 years from now. No, 5 years from now. That's not that
bad. But I'm already turning old this year.
Well, the movies will help you forget that you're so old at that point.
Gross.
Maybe by then there'll be a Justice League 3.
So I can feel even older? Like, 3 of these have come out already.
We also have some Batman v Superman news with Entertainment Weekly, which has revealed the very first look to Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor.
This is really fucking creepy, man.
I did not expect to have that level of intensity when I saw that photo. I was like, all right, holy shit, this is not really the guy from the Social Network.
Man.
Yeah, it was a great photo, but I want to see how he actually portrays the character of Lex. At the end of the day, that's actually what matters. Like, you can have the great outfit. We love the costumes on Batman, Wonder Woman, and especially the new look to Aquaman. But at the end of the day, it depends on how they're actually going to portray the characters and what they end up doing, how they play with them in terms of the plot and what they end up building.
Exactly. I think he'll do a good job, though. I really liked him in Social Network a lot. And I heard good things from, what was that movie with the cards? There was some movie where he went to casinos and robbed them, and I heard good things about him from that movie, too. So I think he'll be able to pull this off.
I'm still holding off. Again, we don't know. So I've only really seen him knock it out of the park with the Social Network. And even that wasn't really a character like Lex, someone that's strong and intense, someone that maybe eventually you'll be able to see him go toe-to-toe with someone like Amanda Waller if they were able to do like a Suicide Squad
That'd be so
Justice
cool.
League crossover.
Can Oprah play her?
No Oprah. It's already not, they already said it's not Oprah.
Fine. But it's gotta be a big lady.
Speaking of Batman v Superman, when do you think they'll actually release a teaser? I only bring this up because the day that the Jesse Eisenberg photo released was exactly 1 year from when Batman v Superman was going to release. So people speculated that, okay, so we're probably going to get the teaser trailer tomorrow. And then they did show something, and it was Lex Luthor.
Ooh, I don't know. Soon. I mean, we have a lot of conventions coming up. I wouldn't put it past them to announce something at a convention.
Which convention do you think? The biggest one? San Diego Comic-Con?
Probably.
You got San Diego, which is the biggest. New York Comic-Con, of course. Probably nothing at WonderCon, which is going on this weekend.
I would guess San Diego. It'd be awesome if it was MegaCon.
Not WonderCon, Emerald Comic-Con. That's
Okay.
Emerald City Comic-Con. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, it'll probably be SDCC, if anything. The exciting thing is by the end of the year, we'll probably have a full trailer by then. The teaser and the full one. I still want to see them release an HD version of the clip that we saw at San Diego Comic-Con last year of Batman lighting up the bat signal and Superman appearing immediately, like right to his beck and call.
You know what the trailer is going to be? It's going to be Superman. He's going to be laying on the bed, like writing in his diary, kicking his little feet. I met the most amazing man today. And then you got to have like fighting scenes. He's strong. More fighting scenes. He's handsome, pulls off his mask and like shakes out his hair.
And he's very dark. Boom! Batman v Superman. You see like the S shield and then the bat wings right behind it very slowly come up.
Kind of like hugging the S shield a little bit.
Hashtag Superman loves Batman.
Amazing! So keeping with our Batman news, some sad news, but not so sad if you really think about it. Batman Arkham Knight has received a 3-week delay to June 23rd.
So this is the second time that Arkham Knight has been delayed. We do have a quote here from Rocksteady game director Sefton Hill, who said in a press release, "We're a developer that hates to make any compromises, so we are sorry to say that this means it's going to be just a little bit longer until you can play the epic conclusion to the Arkham trilogy. As a reward for your patience and understanding, and to make the wait even more unbearable, we are pleased to whet your appetite with a new gameplay video of Batman Arkham Knight."
Now let me just say before we talk about this gameplay video, which was awesome, I'm not mad about this.
No, of course not. Neither
Not at
am
all.
I.
They're gonna make the game better. They could pull a Kingdom Hearts and make me wait 10 fucking years for this game, and I'd be okay with it, because it's gonna be the best game that they can make.
A good trend that I've been seeing when it comes to these delays, especially with the Arkham series, most people are saying, hey, take more time to polish out that bat suit. And that really makes me happy because it shows that some people are becoming more understanding of the fact that, yes, you're going to have to wait for your favorite product. And, you know, believe us, like, we love Batman. We can't wait for this fucking game. I did the Riddler trophies in both games. I fucking pulled the Riddler from the ground when you actually catch him in Arkham City and you punch him in the fucking face. That felt great because in the first game you don't get that. You just hear in the phone call like, hey, we got him, Batman. Good job. Thanks. And the second one you
Is
actually
that
get
how
their
he
hands.
actually sounded?
It's not the best
Like
Gordon.
Tommy Wiseau. We got him. Thanks. Have a good day. Bye. See you later, Batman.
Riddler, you ruined me. How dare you?
The Wiseau Knight. This is perfect.
Let's go eat, huh? I forgot what I was talking about. Like Arkham Knight, yeah, but people are willing to wait for a better product. Exactly.
I would wait for the Wiseau Knight. Batman, this is Wiseau, this is Oracle. You killed my parents, I kill you.
Talk to me, please. You guys, I hope everyone knows what that is, because go to YouTube, Tommy Wiseau, Wiseau, The Room. It's a tired joke, but if you've never seen it, you're gonna laugh for hours.
It's amazing.
It's too good. So the gameplay video.
Yes.
It was like a good 7 to 8 minutes.
Oh, it was long, yeah.
And it was all gameplay footage. That's something they put. This is all gameplay footage running on a PlayStation 4 system. And holy shit, it looks gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
You can tell it's, I think it is the exact same engine. From what he was controlling, the way he was flying, I'm like, okay, this looks very, very exact to Arkham City. And even the way that he blocked and did the counters, I was like, okay, this all looks exactly like Arkham City, but it's way, way prettier.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. The clip starts with like a cutscene, and then you always expect, cutscenes to go into the gameplay, and it doesn't look like a cutscene
Like
anymore.
maybe a short loading screen.
Right, like you saw in Kingdom Hearts all the time, where it's beautiful, and then now you're playing.
Dialogue boxes.
Exactly. Still a great game, but that doesn't happen. Like, you go from the cutscene to the gameplay, and it looks exactly the same.
Like the camera shifts to behind Batman, and then you can control
It
him.
was so cool.
And we've done that in Arkham City, but never to this level of just polish. It's raining. You see the characters' details on their faces already looked amazing, but this is truly current gen software. Like, you see it at work. Granted, in 2 years the games are going to look even better than this.
Yeah,
but
sure.
this is so far the best looking
But
Batman game.
looking at what we came from, I remember playing Pokemans back in the day, and all you heard was
Right.
saw like a little pixel blob. You didn't even really know what it was. I still can't figure out the legendary birds, red and blue.
But as we always say with video games, the gameplay comes first.
Of course.
The graphics aren't, it's just something that we notice. Like, holy shit, that looks really good. As far as the gameplay, it's almost seamless in the way that Batman transitions from the Batmobile to the Dark Knight.
Yeah. He's just like, jumping out this shit. Beat you mofos up. Jumping back in this shit.
Like, he jumps out of it, and you can immediately combo into, like, a takedown. There's a 3-person takedown you can set up now. So right off the bat, 3 arms broken on 3 different guys, and then on to the next guy, and that's where you start your combo. I mean, it's so smooth. It looks like so much fun.
Oh yeah, and it will be fun. Can I say how excited I was to hear Conroy for because we haven't heard him in a while.
That's true.
As Batman.
Yeah.
And so he said those first lines, and I'm not gonna lie, my heart skipped a few beats, and I was like, oh, Conroy.
And we got some glimpses of Oracle as well, how she helps you out. Before we move on to what we have here for some MegaCon news, the Arkham Knight #1 comic book that did come out, I did have a guess as to who the Arkham Knight was, and this was, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 episodes ago. I'm not going to repeat what it is because the comic pretty much confirmed who I think the Arkham Knight is.
They're just tricking you.
I don't know. It's Tomasi wrote Arkham Knight #1, and I read it, and it was really heavy-handed with the symbolism, and it very much relates to a character in the Batman universe. If you know anything about him, or if you saw how it played out, it happens again, but inversely, where instead of this character, it's Batman. He's in Batman's role, and when it plays out, you're like, okay, I know exactly who this is. And for me, I was like, damn, I think I guessed it right, and hopefully no one remembers who I said.
I think they're just tricking you.
Like a red herring?
Yes.
To just kind of throw you off the scent? Possibly, but there's also that DLC pack that they're releasing that gives you a backstory to this character.
That's true. We'll see. We'll find out when it comes out. You're probably right, but I'm going to make you think you aren't right, so you'll still kind of be surprised when you find out for sure.
We didn't guess in Arkham City who the real villain was, so it could be that they continue that. Maybe we think the Arkham Knight is the villain, but there's someone even more behind that all.
That's true. That'd be awesome.
If they somehow pull the Court of Owls in that'd be great.
Ah, that'd be amazing.
With Thomas Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh, Thomas Wayne.
Was that his older brother or his younger brother?
His older brother.
Okay.
I'm
Cool.
pretty sure it was his older brother.
I think you're right.
Because he doesn't remember him.
True. Yep.
So he would have been too young when they sent him off to Looney Town.
Allegedly. We still don't know. It's not really confirmed yet that it's his brother.
They sent him to Looney Town. Yeah, true. So, moving on to some convention news. As we said earlier, we have a lot of conventions coming up. We first want to mention that Fan Expo, a Canadian comic book convention company, has bought Central Florida's MegaCon.
Fan Expo also recently purchased Dallas Comic Con, so it seems like this is an expansion of the company, a trend. Before this, MegaCon was owned by a comic publishing company that was local to Central Florida, and then it was finally bought by its current owner. She then sold it to Fan Expo. Fan Expo, all they specialize in is making conventions happen. So it's going to, I think for the first time, to a company that actually only focuses on that.
Right. Now, you did say we won't see any of the changes this year.
Correct.
Convention's, next month? We're real
close. It's like
close.
15 days away.
Yeah,
days away.
Man, I'm so excited. Okay, so yes, we won't see any of the changes this year. They'll all happen next year. But, we've said before, as much as we love MegaCon, and we really do, it's our favorite convention, I think it's fantastic to have it in the hands of somebody who only does conventions, because it's going to make everything that much sharper, more precise, and perfect.
On top of that, think of the connections they already have as far as who they can bring to the shows. So they already got Dallas Comic-Con in their pocket. I'd have to look up what kind of convention they're going to have coming up, whatever the next one is, because I'm sure their change wasn't instantaneous, just like MegaCon's isn't going to be. But if they can bring in, like, let's say a Kevin Conroy or someone even bigger over to
we would
MegaCon,
die. We would have no money. We just get in line over and over and over.
And somehow have, like, our own San Diego Comic-Con or a New York Comic-Con size thing in Florida.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
That would be too much fun.
Just buy out the entire convention center. Just forget that Mary Kay and the cheerleaders.
So Fan Expo, really happy you're taking over MegaCon. Especially, we're especially happy for you come next year when we apply for the press badges. So
'Cause
just
we'll be there.
know that we've been supporting you from day one.
You'll have the privilege of us attending.
And all of the Brokettes out there as well. If you are in favor of this, just stay completely silent. Don't say anything. And, they have our support. Good. Fan Expo, go for it. Make it better.
It's going to be amazing.
Conventions.
Hashtag win convention. I didn't know you could win conventions.
You can. San Diego wins it every year. We've got 2 questions of the week for this episode. The first one coming from Twitter user @SouthernOcean29, who asks, why haven't you guys watched Steven Universe yet?
So you give your reason and then I'll give mine.
I don't have a reliable source to actually watch the cartoon. I know it's on cable. We don't have cable. We catch everything through Netflix, through Hulu, and then through the internet. But I don't know what websites these kids use that somehow stream these episodes illegally. It would be illegally, wouldn't it? Or is it just someone owns it? That's how old I am and out of touch. I don't even know if it's illegal or not. I'm sure it is, but I don't have access to those sites. So it's just whatever happens to go up on YouTube and stays up for a while and then gets brought down by Cartoon Network. So I've seen the one episode. @SouthernOcean29 actually linked me to the episode, and they're like, yeah, she's like, watch this. It's really funny. If you like Adventure Time, you'll enjoy this. I saw it and it was really good. But now it's like, where do I watch the rest,
Right. My answer, yes, everything you just said. But what kind of time do I have to watch more TV?
Well, you're about to have time to watch Hansen versus Predator.
Well, true, but we have so many shows that we have to watch, and we're fortunate the last few months we've had a similar schedule so we could catch up on everything. But we're the couple that we have to watch our TV together, or we get really mad at each other.
Yeah, you get really mad at me when I watch.
You get mad at me too. Somebody in your house watched New Girl on Netflix, and you jumped all over me. Like, what are you doing watching this without me? And I'm like, I didn't watch that without you.
I need my Zooey Deschanel. I'm sorry.
Anyway, usually we have a much different schedule. So trying to find time, to watch even our Ramsey shows and things that are top priority that we're already invested in, that's so hard.
We're watching The Flash,
Yeah.
iZombie, Gotham, if they come out with a new episode anytime soon. We were watching Constantine. But the good news is, with Steven Universe, if it does come up on Netflix, it is something that, one, we could watch, as we're going to bed or whatever, when we're not actually trying to knock out our brand new episodes, because Hulu will take them off, in a month or whatever. If you haven't seen it, they're gone. So that's primarily what we focus on. But also in between seasons, like Hell's Kitchen is done. All right, maybe there's no Hotel Hell or Kitchen Nightmares because we're suckers for Ramsey.
There's
we just
always
watch it all.
a Ramsey show. There's always. We had 2 MasterChef Juniors this year already.
That's true. MasterChef Junior, MasterChef. There was the F Word also we were watching. All of those. Just
Kitchen
chef
Nightmares.
yelling at people
Yes.
is gold. It's almost as good as catching pedophiles on television.
What if Chef Ramsay caught pedophiles?
That'd be the best crossover. Man, that'd be great.
And then what if Chris Hansen ran a kitchen?
I'd watch that too.
Why don't all of you come over here? Have a seat.
I'm going to teach you how to cook this. It says here that you don't know the recipe and that you blanked your blank.
In the cooler last week.
I always love that he censored himself. It's like, just say it, dude. It's like, they're going to bleep you out anyway.
Those would be amazing crossovers. So, yes, that is our reasoning. No steady source of it, and we have no time.
Give us a steady source. We'll make time for it, though.
Yes.
Another question. John from Facebook, who asked, what is your favorite movie variant cover this month? If you guys haven't seen them, they're up on newsarama.com. We've talked about it, covered it on the podcast before, and they have been coming out. They've been doing great. The reception I've gotten from subscribers that come into the shop every week or whenever they pick up, they're like, holy shit, I don't read Justice League Dark, but I needed this Beetlejuice cover. So one, it's selling more books for us,
right,
for DC as well. There's always that slight chance they might read the comic, maybe they'll enjoy it, and instead of just, oh cool, it's a great cover, something I can flip through as I'm going through my comic box, done. But everyone seems to like them, and honestly, my favorite is the Batgirl Purple Rain one.
Ah, that one's really cool. That was almost my favorite. My favorite is the Flash from North by Northwest.
Good.
The colors in that are it's a beautiful cover.
If I had to pick a second favorite, mine would be the Joker The Mask variant, which comes out Wednesday, I believe.
Awesome.
So thank you both for submitting questions. Remember, you could always submit your questions. We'll read them right on the air, just like we did this week. You can ask us on Twitter @ReasonsI'mBroke or on Facebook.com/TheReasonsI'mBroke.
Next up, we have some exciting news for our shop. A lot of you have been asking for these, and we finally have them available. Go to nerdupmedia.com/shop, and we have a new color for our t-shirts.
A couple of Brokettes out there have been asking for this, and we're very happy to announce after checking it out with our t-shirt guy, he gave us a couple of choices on the right hue, and we finally picked one with the white Nerd Up Media logo on it. We have pink t-shirts.
Woo!
In male and female sizes.
Pink t-shirts. You can now purchase a pink t-shirt.
You can pretend to have Majin Buu on your body.
Yes.
With the Nerd Up Media logo.
Can we Sharpie an M on the back of it before we send it to everyone?
Or if you want a ditto, just leave us the option, ditto or Majin. And we'll do the dots for ditto, like the eyes and then the smile.
We'll just Sharpie some shit on there.
And we'll sign it. We'll sign the inside, don't worry.
I would sign the outside, please.
Sign the logo. But we do have that for a donation of $16.99. You can pick your colors from black, red, gray, blue, and now pink.
Wonderful. When are we getting a green one?
There hasn't been people asking for green yet.
I just asked for a green one.
We'll see. We just added pink.
We'll just get on that green, man. And for all of you purchasing our Nerd Media shirts, you can wear them to MegaCon.
We've got our weekly Road to MegaCon special.
You didn't say that right. You never say it right.
Road to MegaCon.
Thank you.
Con. Guest highlight of the week is Mike Perkins.
He is an illustrator for Marvel Comics, having worked on Captain America, Thor, and X-Men. He has been nominated numerous times for Eisner and Harvey Awards and has previously won the Eagle Award.
You can meet Mike and the many other guests that we've highlighted these past couple of weeks at MegaCon. That's April 10th through the 12th at the Orange County Convention Center. You can get your tickets at megaconvention.com.
We also want to remind everyone, coming up in May, we have our panel at Omni Expo.
All of us from Nerd Up Media, at least the majority of us, are going to be at Omni Expo for the Podcasting 101 panel. You join the Nerd Up Media crew as we go through how you can get started on a podcast or a Let's Play channel. That will be especially fun for me since I've done more of the Pokemon TCG Online stuff, so I can at least, it won't just be the lazy gaming guys that can give you input, it can also be myself from the reasons I'm broke.
That convention is May 22nd through the 24th at the Rosen Center Hotel in Orlando, Florida.
And finally, our free Audible audiobook recommendation of the week is Batman: The Lazarus Syndrome.
The synopsis is, the Batman is dead. Police Commissioner Gordon has received a recording by the Batman that reveals his real identity. But who is the occupant of Wayne Manor? It soon becomes a desperate journey into the background of Gotham City's famous vigilante to find out who killed the Dark Knight.
This audiobook is free with your trial when you sign up at audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
Brokettes get a free Audible book download of their choice along with a 30-day trial. Again, that's audibletrial.com/nerdupmedia.
And finally, we have no Marvel Comics this week, but we do have some indies, really good ones, and then finally some ends to some New 52 books this week on the podcast. First review being Adventure Time number 38, written by Christopher Hastings and Rachel Edidin, art by Zachary Sterling and Kel McDonald, colors by Marta Laiho.
I liked the follow-up in the story more than the main one.
Completely the opposite for me. I didn't get as much from the backup story, which is a story about Marceline in the story, as opposed to the main comic, which is comprised of Finn actually inside Jake's body trying to dodge all the obstacles that the natural human body has, like acids and what was it, the white
antibodies,
cells?
Yeah. It was cute. The main premise, if you remember from last month, everybody forgets how to cook. So they're all running out of food and people are attacking and things. So they shrink Finn down because Jake's the only one who knows how to make a sandwich. So then they have to go and find out, get this piece that's inside of him that helps him remember how to make a sandwich and bring it out for everybody.
Very fun book. I'm liking the new creative team on it. And I feel like the jokes are different enough from what we had for the last, 2 years that the book's been going on. But it makes sense and it fits in the Adventure Time universe.
Agreed.
And I'm really liking the book.
Agreed. I feel like it hasn't fallen from what we had before. And we still have the little notes at the bottom, which are so much fun. Our next book is Conan Red Sonja, number 3. This is written by Gail Simone and Jim Zub, with art by Randy Green, and the colorist is Dave Stewart.
You wanted them to get it on.
Yeah.
You don't get that.
I know.
But you almost get that.
I almost got it. There was a whole page where I was like, bow, chicka, bow, bow.
This book is a roller coaster.
And then I turned the page and I was like, ah.
There goes someone's arm.
Well, is it bad that even, like, when there was that crisis where probably should have cut off his arm, I was like, well, just cut it off and finish.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up, actually.
It needs to happen.
What I thought was funniest about the book is you had the sexual tension between the two characters in the last couple of issues, and in this one it just gets resolved immediately. You're like, oh, my old love is gone now, and it's just you and me. You know? I'm like, all right, just get it over with, book. This is what many readers want to see anyway. I could care less.
What I wanted to see. I cared less. I did not care. I'm like, good, that bitch is out of the picture.
It's so messed up of you. She did nothing to you. It's just because you know Red Sonja.
She kept them from being together. I didn't like her.
The story itself, we got one issue left, and so far it looks like Conan and Red Sonja are working together. The pairing of Gail Simone and Jim Zub, I don't notice the dialogue or the story or anything going back and forth between the two. It is a style, I don't know how they write it. I'm assuming the process is he writes for Conan. They have like a story that they plotted together, and then they figure out the dialogue for each one, because it does sound like Gail Simone's Red Sonja, and it does sound like a different Conan, not necessarily something Gail Simone has written as far as the male characters, but something that does fit with the character of Red Sonja, what the world that she built really comprised of. And I feel like the two are really likable, they work well together, and when you finally pit them against one another, that's when the conflict and the plot really comes to the height of the book, and we're going to see that all resolved in issue number 4 next month.
I wish it was like 10 more issues long. This is just not enough issues.
Especially with Red Sonja ending. Like, it's only got 1 or 2 regular issues.
That's so sad.
And that is actually the book that we have next. That's Red Sonja number 15, written again by Gail Simone, art by Walter Giovanni, who's been killing it on this series. I really want to follow him on whatever he ends up doing afterward. And the colors, we have 3 colorists, Adriano Lucas, Alex Guiomaris, and Marco Lesco.
This is actually my pick of the week.
There was a better book this week, but tell us, why do you think
what was
this
that
is
for? Okay.
your pick of the week?
You know, there's a better book for you this week, but this was my pick of the week.
Explain.
As always, Gail Simone is solid. She tells a fantastic story. We get to see Red Sonja again learn more about herself, which is what I always like to see from Red Sonja. She overcomes this curse. She does what she thinks is right, even though bad things, really bad things, do happen and will continue to happen for her, because at the end of the day it's about these other people, it's not about herself.
Red Sonja is so redeemable of a character that when you finally see her rally up the town, not to spoil too much, but the fact that she can actually, normally you just see her kick ass and kill people and really try to get her way. Even when she tries to be friendly with certain of her characters, she's still tough on them.
Right.
But here you see a compassionate side to her that is very rare to Gail Simone's Red Sonja. And it really pays off in the story, because this is a character that is vulnerable. If you read the last issue, from the very beginning actually of this arc, she's been vulnerable to a terrible curse. And when you see that others can see that caring side of her, and even though she does have some rough actions, they all are to benefit the innocent people or the town or the good people that she surrounds herself with. And when you have that payoff in the book, I think that helps us as readers connect more, not just to Sonja, but to the rest of the town.
Agreed. And that's why it was my pick of the week.
There
were other good books, but not a better book. Our next book, which is my pass of the week, ironically enough, knock them both out at once. Samurai Jack number 17. This is written by Jim Zub with art by Sergio Quijada. Quijada. Why do you give me the hard words?
That's an easy one.
That's not. It's because you're Hispanic.
That's not racist. Almost my pass of the week as well. I feel like almost after this issue, I'm like, do I really care about Samurai Jack anymore? Because this last story arc, it's not been anything special. Like, I understand that we want him to get home eventually, but this adventure that they kind of paired him up with a secret agent just isn't really doing it for me.
Agreed. The only enjoyment I got out of this issue is at the one point we find this trinket that they've been looking for, and there's a keychain of blue from Foster's Home of Imaginary Friends on it.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I've never seen that show, so.
Well, I mean, I watched a few episodes. There's a lot of, like, crazy theories about that show I'll share with you later. But that was the only enjoyment I got of it. I'm like, oh, it's blue. They threw him in there. So
That's kind of cool.
other than that, I was just like, I don't really care, Samurai. Like, you're never going to get home.
So it sounds like we're going to drop it from our list?
Probably.
All right. Which we'll have to start doing because come June, we're going to have a million books coming out with DC's 24.
Poor.
The Reasons We're More Broke.
Yes.
That's going to be what it's called.
The Reasons We're Homeless.
24 new titles from DC. We were going through the list of the previous catalog, which did come out this week. If you're a subscriber at a comic shop, definitely do yourself a favor. Do the shop a favor, too. And go through that catalog and order whatever books you want to be put down for. Because remember, the comic shop doesn't know how many to order unless you tell them. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how we gauge, like, okay, so, 40 subscribers were down for Batman and Robin. So we know we want to order this many of Robin, Son of Batman when that comes out in June. It's really a guessing game, and it sucks because you have 3 months to guess and you don't really see the trends as much. Right. For example, Archie #1, that's Fiona Staples who's doing the book. We probably want to order some books to satisfy that Saga crowd, and then the Archie crowd as well. Which it's like, how many numbers do we order of that? Mm-hmm. So please check out your previous catalog. Our DC books this week, it looks like we have 4 of them. The first one being Arkham Manor #6, written by Jerry Dugan, art by Sean Crystal, and colors by Dave McCaig. Final issue in Arkham Manor, and that's my pass of the week.
I could see why that was your pass of the week. It was rocky.
It seems like Arkham Manor #5 set up this brand new character to be the next arc, maybe 3 to 4 issues long. And with the ending of this series, it's not going to continue after Convergence. Mm-hmm. They were like, okay, well, let's fucking finish it then. And it shows in the book. And when I, as a reader, notice it sucks. It's not good. It's not a good thing.
Right. I thought Freeze was fun, though.
Freeze was fucking adorable. Like, he was such a good character, such a good guy, as opposed to what we saw in Batman Eternal last week when he was freezing people and fighting people.
Even when we first saw Freeze and he was terrible and we hated him, like, this book redeemed him for me.
It did it well, too. Mm-hmm. He gets time off because he's a good person at the manor, a good inmate, so he can go outside and play in the snow, and I thought that was great.
He builds a little igloo.
Yes, he has a little commentary to what's going on in Batman's world, and I think it's adorable. But that was about it with this issue. New character, resolved, and really at the end it's just like Riddler's like, we can get out of here, and Batman's like, yeah, just try it, and that's the end of the comic. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just read? What happened? I'm glad this book is over, I guess.
Save us some money. Yeah, I agree with everything. I dislike Samurai Jack more. Our next book, which I'm sure is your pick of the week.
Yes.
Batman and Robin #40. This is written by Peter J. Tomasi with art by Patrick Gleason, and the colorist is John Cleese.
This was the sequel, basically, of my favorite of the New 52 comics single issues since 2011, and that was right after the death of Damian Wayne. Batman and Robin, I believe it was #19, the all-silent issue. All of that comes back in Batman and Robin #40, because we see reflections of the grief that Batman went through in that issue, and it all comes around and has the perfect tie-in or bookend to the whole story, to the whole Batman and Robin book, which was my favorite book of last year. And looking at all of the New 52, looking at Batman and Robin, and looking at Scott Snyder's Batman, I've got to say Batman and Robin is the best book DC put out in the New 52.
That's a strong statement.
Very strong, because Batman is really fucking good.
It was a good issue. I don't think, and part of my problem is I didn't make the connection that you did. I think if I had that, oh, this is everything that happened in the silent issue. Like, I only caught the picture. I didn't catch anything else.
There's this beautiful sequence in that silent issue, which is on one of the trade paperbacks. I believe it's a Requiem for Damien. But it's just Batman going down the pole to the Batcave, and he looks next to him, and he remembers Damien in that image. And then he snaps back into reality, and it's just emptiness. And then he looks when he's, grappling by a building, he looks at the reflection. It used to be him and his son, and now it's just him by himself. And it's so powerful of a single comic. Like, it's 24 pages, probably less. And by the end of it, you nearly tear up. And the way that they do a throwback to that, and I'm sure that's all... I'm going to give most of this credit to Gleason, because he had to pull the hell off. And it's almost done exactly like he did it, a year and a half ago, or whatever, however long that was. But it's all for the good of Bruce and the happiness of Batman, which we rarely see. Right. We see satisfaction, and there's a difference between satisfaction and utter happiness. And when you see the Dark Knight truly happy, it's you tear up. You've gotta.
Oh, you're so happy talking about this.
Someone's like, it's a fictional character, Daniel. He doesn't exist.
It was a very good issue. I can see definitely why it would be your pick of the week. Our next book is Gotham Academy number 6. This is written by Becky Cloonan and Brendan Fletcher, with art by Carl Kerschel. And you give me the hard names. Mingay Helen Chin. And the colorist is Misasik Sergei Lapointe. And why?
Mingay Helen Chen.
Mingay Helen Chin.
There you go. Gotham Academy number 6. I will tell you, the artwork vastly improved from number 5.
It still had some issues, though.
You're right, and you pointed that out, and that was smart. But those issues weren't as big as the ones in 5. In number 5, we had some panels in which the colors were so dark.
Correct.
They took place underground or wherever, in a dark room, and they looked washed out. Like, instead of it looking like a dark room, it looked like they ran out of black ink halfway through. And it wasn't just, this batch of comics. It's in the digital version. It's in the other comics that we had at the comic shop. It's there. But this time around, what they did is they outlined the characters more, so they stick out more in those dark scenes. And they actually didn't make them quite as dark. They used cooler colors to represent the darkness. And I thought that was a much smarter choice.
Yes. One thing they did miss, though, is Silverlock wears a dress that has a lot of lace in the top. And there were, 3 or 4 panels where there's just no lace. She's just in a strapless dress.
That is the problem with digital drawings, which I don't have a problem with. But this is an exclusive thing to digital coloring and drawings, and that is that sometimes you forget a layer. If you turn off that layer, and it looks like that's what they did, I don't think it's them just forgetting to draw it in. It doesn't appear, and you know that's what happened because you see the outline of where the shirt would have ended, and it looks just incomplete. Like, just hit that little... eyeball so yeah. So it pops up. And unfortunately I did miss it, but as I was reading I didn't notice it. It's just you that pointed it out. I was like, oh yeah, that's actually kind of weird.
Because I'm a female, we notice clothes. I did enjoy this issue more than I did number 5, mostly for Killer Croc.
Yes, he was the heart of this comic.
Yes, because he was so sweet, and you really got to see that, he's not a monster. And our main character realizes that, and, you obviously see that her mom realized that, and find a little bit more about her mom, which I'm very interested to see where that story goes. And the ending was totally kick-ass.
Killer Croc is very much connected into our main character's past, and it's done in such a warm way that you can't help but grow to like Killer Croc even more. If you grew up and watched the Batman the Animated Series like we did, you already like Killer Croc.
Yes.
I mean... yeah, it was Batman in disguise, but he threw a rock at him.
I threw a rock at him.
The best line in that.
Rock.
So for that, I like this issue more than the past couple. And when it does come back in June, it's in the solicitations. It looks like Damian Wayne will join the Gotham Academy. So
awesome! Cannot wait for that.
Boost in sales, hopefully.
Yeah. Well, I just want Damian Wayne to be like picking up all these ladies. That's all I want to see.
Oh, and he will. He'll take after his dad.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a nice Talia-looking one in there.
No, that's weird. That's his mom.
He takes after his father.
No. That's way weird.
That's all I'm saying.
No, that's just too weird. Like, let me go for this woman who looks like my mom.
Fine.
My mom
go
who
after
killed
one that
me.
looks like Selena.
My mom who killed me.
She did not kill Damian.
Yeah, she did.
Nope.
Yeah, she did.
His clone did.
Okay, but she killed him.
Sinestro number 11, our final book this week. Moving away from whatever that was. Written by Cullen Bunn, art by Brad Walker and Geraldo Borges, and colors by Jason Wright.
Sinestro finds his woman.
It's Sinestro versus Mogul. What does the Sinestro core? How can they go up against Warworld? We've seen how strong Mogul can really be, and in the last couple of issues, was the last couple? I think, where Sinestro was completely captured.
Yeah, at least the last one.
You see the manipulative side of Sinestro, which I always enjoy to see, and it's something that Cullen Bunn has really highlighted in the series, and we've only been 11 issues in, but when you do get that moment in which Sinestro's like, I'm going to overcome this in spite of how you stack the odds, that's kind of why we're reading the book, and it does pay off in a big way in this. It is an ending point so that when the book comes back in June, you're kind of like, okay, let's see what Sinestro does with this outcome. And for that, I'm just extremely happy that we're back in that direction of, okay, so he's trying to rebuild his people, he's trying to rebuild his core, and really trim it down to being what it should be. Next week, we have an annual for Sinestro, and a bunch of other fucking books. It's going to be an expensive week. But in that annual, we're going to find out there is a traitor in the Sinestro Corps.
It's not his woman. He did get with his woman. You know he did.
There is a love interest. That's correct.
Because she shows up and she's like, I don't even know why I came. And he's like, because you wanted to come.
Yeah, that's funny.
Chicka, wow, wow.
Are you happy that Saronic Natu is still in the book?
Oh, of course. I think they haven't focused as much on her, but we had all that Godhead stuff going on. I hope we get back to that and them rebuilding their relationship as father and daughter, because I think there's a whole lot of potential there.
If you're big on Sinestro, there's the trade paperback that's already out for Volume 1. The hardcover should be out soon if it's not on shelves now. But I did see in the solicitations that June's Volume 2 will be released, and we'll be picking up that as well, because aside from the Godhead nonsense, every other thing around it has been really solid.
Yep, agreed. So that will do it for our comic books this week. Just to reiterate, my Past of the Week was Samurai Jack number 17.
And mine was Arkham Manor number 6.
My pick of the week was Red Sonja number 15.
And my pick of the week was Batman and Robin number 40, which was the final issue. We do want to remind everyone to check out that shop, nerdupmedia.com/shop. Pick up a pink t-shirt or one of the other colors that we have by making a donation of $16.99. Helps all of us out at nerdupmedia.com. While you're there, check out the other shows on the network, including the other podcast, Those Two Jerks, comic book reviews that are in video form on YouTube from the Read Pile, and of course some more Let's Plays from the Lazy Gaming guys who recently did Pokemon Snap.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
I love Pokemon Snap.
Then you'll love what the Lazy Gaming guys have been doing. Check them out on nerdupmedia.com.
You guys can also head over to Twitter, twitter.com/reasonsimebroke, or you can do #reasonsimebroke. Let us know what made you broke this week. Also, you can ask us a question of the week and we'll talk about it on our next podcast.
If you are also broke this week, you don't have enough for a t-shirt, anything like that, something you can do for free to help us out. Head on over to iTunes, leave us a review, let us know what you think of the podcast. Those 2 minutes for the review really goes a long way in helping us out. Also works on Stitcher if you're using the Stitcher podcast application.
And we just want to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Audible.com and MegaCon.
And of course, to all the listeners out there and the watchers on YouTube, all of the Brokettes, thank you so much for watching and for supporting us every week, as well as providing the questions that we're more than happy to answer on the show.
Thank you guys so much. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Daniel.
We'll see you next week.